Anyway, we should start. Let's get this over with. Anybody watch those videos I posted? I had to watch a bit of them. It's like, oh, they're painful. Anyway, the camera was back there, and I picked up all this background noise, so I could hear like you guys in the back talking the same stuff. And anyway, the quality wasn't good, so I had to move this thing up, and I guess I have to restrict myself to the middle board, and so we'll see how this goes. First thing, assignments will be due a week from today. And I will always make this the case that you have 1 week after the last lecture on the topic pertaining to your activity assessment assignment, whatever you want to call it. So it's due at 10 o'clock in the morning. So either if you want to print it out, you can do that, or you can email it to me if you want to save paper and ink costs, that's fine. Or you can post it to Blackboard. I guess I would have to set something up, I don't know. Have you posted to Blackboard before assignment? Yes? No? Okay, somehow? Okay, well, I'll look into it. I have a few days. Are there any questions about the assignment? None? Everybody's done? It was really easy? Everything was good to go? Okay, I'll talk about some things today that should help you in the assignment. Somebody asked me how long it should be. I don't really have any limitations on length. I don't want to see something 20 pages because I don't think it would take you 20 pages to say what you need to say. So think of brevity, be able to explain yourself, and if it's clear, hand it in. If you can do this in 1 page, that's great. You can use point form in places, but you do need to be able to explain yourselves, and it has to be grammatically correct and spelling and all that kind of stuff, okay? Pay attention to the factors that are going to cause demand and supply to shift. If you're talking about a change in supply, are you talking about a change in the supply curve? Or are you talking about a change in the quantity supply? You don't necessarily need to shift the whole supply curve to have a change in quantity supplied. You can have a movement along the demand curve, for example. So be very clear about what you're talking about. Supply, quantity, demand, and price. Okay? They're all different things, and they all have different reasons for moving. Okay, so we've got a few things left to do. We're going to talk about complements and substitutes today. I've posted the lecture notes, and I'm trying to make them more detailed. And I'm taking some excerpts out of a textbook that I wrote. It was a forestry textbook. So it's still, whenever you see the word trees, scratch out and put in agriculture. Resource of your choice. It all applies the same way. Okay, so if you want more information on that, that's in this speaking notes. We'll talk about elasticity and then derived demand and the supply chain. And that'll be it for markets. And then we move on to the second section, which is sustainability. And you will have another assignment due after that. Okay, so tell me what I have if I draw this. Am I doing something wrong? Have you seen this picture before? This is what we hear about. Demands rise all the time. Populations give rise to demand. You've got more people. There's more demand in the market. And we hear about supplies diminishing. We hear about that with oil, with minerals, with gas, with practically everything. So what is this? Is this a supply and demand scenario that we've been talking about in the class? What should I put here on this axis, and what should I put here? What would you put here?
Price.
Price? So that means the price would be going up for demand and the price would be going down for supply?
Time.
Time. I would put time. So this is telling us that over time we're seeing a decrease in supply, and over time we're seeing an increase in demand. And that's the story you hear in the newspaper all the time. This is not the same scenario as what we talk about here. And the difference, what are we missing? Let's back up. What are we missing from this picture? What would I put on this axis? Quantity, right. So what's missing from this picture? Price. And price tells us the value of something, the marginal value and the marginal cost. So we're missing price from this picture. So these are not demand and supply curves as we've been talking about. So when you look at a supply curve, you have quantity and price here. And what we have to remember is this is for a particular point in time. Okay? Think of this as a snapshot. Same as the demand curve. Quantity and price. So if we're missing price in this one, this tells us nothing about the relative value or the scarcity of the quantity we're talking about, right? So it's very difficult to set policy based on this notion that supply is diminishing and demands are increasing. With this, we can talk about a change in demand. Demand rising would depict this here. You would see a shift in the demand curve from D to D prime. Okay? And that can tell us something about what's happening with prices, for example. Prices might be rising. Okay? The same as supply. If supply is decreasing, which way do I shift this curve? Forwards or backwards? If supply is decreasing, we want to go this way, S prime. Okay? The way to tell if supply is decreasing is to look at the quantity. QS1, at this price, we have QS2. Okay? So quantity is decreasing. Don't think of supply decreasing as going up and down. If you think of it going down, you're going to go the wrong direction. So always check what's happening with quantity at the same time. Okay? So these are the pictures we want to focus on. This is just an interesting description of something, but it's not economic because it doesn't have price. It doesn't tell us those marginal values. Okay. So there's another relationship that we didn't talk about in terms of exogenous factors. And these factors affect the demand. So there's one more. And they are complements and substitutes. So complements are, what kind of goods do you think? What type of goods are complements?
Beer and pizza.
Yeah. Goods that go together. So if you buy one, you're likely going to buy another. So we've got beer and pizza. What other types of goods go together? Socks and shoes. Or like old men, socks and sandals. Sorry, anybody's wearing socks and sandals today. What else?
Burgers and buns.
Burgers and buns. Think resources, since we're in resource class. Your recreational resources, skis and poles. I don't know. I walk my dogs using these poles, like they're Norwegian walking sticks, and some little kid said, "Mommy, that lady lost her skis." Of course, there's no snow either, so. What other types of goods go together?
Tractors and fuel.
Tractors and fuel, yep.
Fertilizer and any crop